Hello guys, my name is Marvel and you're welcome to the School of Pipsology aka Marvel Pips. In our last class we talked about what are traded in the forex market, and in this class we'll be talking about buying and selling currency pairs. Forex trading is the simultaneously buying of one currency and selling another. Currencies are traded through a broker or dealer and are traded in pairs. Currencies are quoted in relation to another currency. For example, the euro and the US dollar, or the British pounds and the Japanese yen. When you trade in the forex market, you buy or sell in currency pairs. Imagine each currency pairs constantly in a tug of war, with each currency on its own side of the rope. An exchange rate is the relative price of two currencies from two different countries. Example, Nigeria and United States of America. Exchange rate fluctuates based on which currency is stronger at the moment. Example, the Naira is weaker and the US is stronger. There are three categories of currency pairs. 1. The majors. 2. The crosses. 3. The exotics. The major currency pairs always include the US dollar. Note, the major currency pairs always include the US dollar. Cross currency pairs do not include the US dollar. Example, the euro and the Japanese yen, and also the Great British pounds and also the New Zealand dollar. Those are the examples of the cross currency. While the major currencies are the US dollar and the euros, the Great British pounds and the USD. Crosses that involve any of the major currencies are also known as minors. Exotic currency pairs consist of one major currency and one currency from an emerging market (EM). Major currency pairs, we have example the euros and the US dollar. You can see from the diagram. The currency pairs listed below are considered the majors. These pairs all contain the US dollar on one side and are the most frequently traded, compared to the crosses and exotic price move more frequently with the majors, which provide more trading opportunities. From the table below we have the currency pairs and the countries and the FS gig speak. We have the euros and the USD, and also the countries are Eurozone and the United States. The forex gig speak are euro dollar. Then for the USD we have USD/Japanese, we have United States and Japan. Then for the gig is dollar yen. While for the Great British/USD we have United Kingdom/United States as a country, while the gig is a pound dollar. Then for the USD/ the Switzerland franc we have the country United States and Switzerland. Then for the gig is dollar Swissy. Then for the US dollar/Canadian dollar we have United States/Canada. Then for the gig is dollar only. Remember the nickname or the name for the currency of Canadian is loonie. Then we have Australian dollar and US dollar. We have Australia/United States. The gig is Aussie and dollar. Then we have the New Zealand/USD, which is Kiwi and dollar gig. The majors are the most liquid in the world. Liquidity is used to describe the level of activity in the financial market. In forex, it is based on the number of activity traded by buying and selling a specific currency pair and the volume being traded. The more frequently traded something is, the higher its liquidity. For example, more people trade the euro and the USD currency pair and at higher volumes than the Australian USD currency pairs. That is a true fact. This means that euro and USD is the more liquid than AUD/USD. This is true because the US economy is the biggest economy in the world compared to Australia dollar, and the euros is the next after the Great British pounds. The euros is the next. Major cross currency pairs or minor currency pairs. Currency pairs that don't contain the US dollar are known as cross currency pairs or simply as the crosses. Note this, these are very, very important. Major crosses are also known as minors. Major crosses are also known as minor. I can call it major crosses or minors. Example are the Great British Pounds / the US dollar, or the euro / the US dollar. Why not as frequently traded as the majors? The crosses are still pretty liquid and still provide plenty of traded opportunities. The most actively traded crosses are derived from the three major non-USD currency: euro, Japanese yen, and Great British pounds. Euros crosses, we have for the euros crosses, we have the currency pairs EUR/CHF, which is euros / Switzerland franc. Then the countries are Eurozone and Switzerland. Then the forex geek speak is Euro Swizzy. Then you have the euros and the Great British pounds, Eurozone / United Kingdom country, and the forex geek is Euro pound. The Euro Canadian dollar, we have Eurozone and Canada as a country. Then the gig is Euro Lumi. Then for the Euro / Australian dollar, we have Eurozone / Australia. The gig is Euro Aussie. Then for the Euro New Zealand, the country is Eurozone and New Zealand. Then we have Euro Kiwi. Then for the Euro and SEK, Eurozone and Sweden, we have Euro Stocky. Then for the Euro / NOK, we stand for Norway as a country, then the forex gig is Euro NOK. Then for the Japanese yen crosses, we have on the table the currency pairs, the Euro / Japanese yen, and the countries are Eurozone / Japan. Then the forex gig speak is Euro yen or Yope. Then for the Great British pounds and Japanese yen, the countries are United Kingdom and Japan. Then the gig are pound yen or Gope. Then for the Switzerland franc and Japanese, we have the countries Switzerland and Japan. The currency gig are Swizzy yen. Then Canadian Japanese, then we have Canada and Japan, we have Luni and yen. Then Australian and Japan, we have Australia, Japan as a country, and the gig are Aussie and yen. Then the New Zealand dollar and Japanese yen, country are New Zealand and Japan. Then the gig are Kiwi and yen. Now for the pound crosses, we have Great British pounds, which the country are United Kingdom and Switzerland. We have the gig are pound and Swizzy. Then we have the Great British pounds and Australian dollar. The gig are pound Aussie. Then we have the Great British pound and Canadian, with the gig are pound and Luni. Then we have Great British pounds and New Zealand, which the gig are pound and Kiwi. We have other crosses. There's Australian dollar and Switzerland franc. Countries are Australia and Switzerland. We have Aussie and Swizzy as the gig. Then we have Australian dollar and Canadian dollar. The countries are Australia and Canada. We have Aussie and Luni. So these are all listed on the table. So when you get the material, you can go through them. Then we have exotic currency pairs. No exotic pairs are not exotic belly dancers who happen to be twins. Exotic currency pairs are made up of one major currency paired with the currency of an emerging economy such as Brazil, Mexico, Chile, Turkey, or Hungary. The chart below contains a few examples of exotic currency pairs. Wanna take a shot at guessing what those other currency symbols stand for? Depending on your forex broker, you may see the following exotic currency pairs, so it is good to know what they are. Keep in mind that these pairs aren't as heavily traded as the majors or crosses, so the transaction costs associated with trading these pairs are usually bigger. So the transaction costs are usually bigger when you're trading with these exotic currency pairs. So below is a table that shows us example of
exotic currency pairs. Now we have the first one, the USD slash the BRL. The country is United States over the Brazil. Then the forex geek speak is dollar and real. You know the currency of Brazil are real. Now we have the USD slash HKD is United States over Hong Kong. We have no geek. Geeks are not available. Then we have the USD dollar and SARO, which is the countries are United States and Saudi Arabia. We have dollar and real as the currency. Then the USD and SGD, which is United States and Singapore, which is dollar Sing. Then we have the USD and ZAR, which is United States and Africa, which is dollar and rand. Then we have the USD and THB, United States and Thailand, dollar and baht. Then we have the USD and EPS and MSN, which is United States and Mexico, dollar and MEX. Then we have the USD and the RUB, which is United States and Russia, which is dollar, ruble, or bani. We have the USD PLN and the country is United States and Poland, which is the gig at dollar and zloty. Then we have the USD and CLP, which is United States and Chile. We have no gig. So it is not usually to see spread that are 2 or 3 times bigger than that of Euro slash USD or USD slash Japanese yen. Due to the overall lower degree of liquidity, exotic currency pairs tend to be far more sensitive to economic and geopolitical events. For example, a political scandal or unexpected election result can cause an exotic pairs exchange rate to swing violently. So if you want to trade exotic currency pairs, remember to factor this in your decision. For those of you who are really memorized by exotic, here is a more comprehensive list. So now, instead, like what they said earlier here, is that, for example, a political scandal or unexpected election result can cause an exotic pairs. These are examples of fundamental analysis. So fundamental analysis are another key factor that affects the forex market. These are the events, these are how the news, these are how the things, the economy of a country affect a particular currency. For example, if maybe in Japan there's maybe an earthquake and maybe there's maybe a civil war and so many persons lost their life and nothing was coming in, no goods, no transportation, it will affect the currency of that particular country, to affect the currency of that Japanese. So a lot of guys, a lot of traders, they make use of Japanese yen during their major currency, during their currency crosses, so it will affect the liquidity of that currency because is a popular currency, is most traded by professional traders and uh, normal traders. So that particular value of that currency will go down. So the fundamental analysis affects the forex market industry a lot. So if you want to trade exotic currency pairs, remember to factor this in your decision. For those of you who are really memorized by exotic, here is a more comprehensive list. Currency code, we have the AED. The country is UAE Dirham. Currency code is ARS, and the country is Argentinian Peso. The next one is AFN, and the country is Afghanistan Afghani. The code is GEL, and the country is Georgian Lari. Then the next one is MYR, which is Malaysian Ringgit. The code, the currency code is the currency code is AMD, and the country is Armenian Dram. So when you get all this material, you go through them. Even without getting the material, you can also go to Google, ask your Google exotic currency pairs. You can download the PDF on your Google you get all the exotic currency pairs, and also major currency pairs and minor currency pairs, cross currency pairs, and so on. We have the G10 currencies. Aside from the three main categories of currency pairs, there are other groups of currency that are thrown around in the forex world, which you should be aware of. We have the G10 currencies. The G10 currencies are 10 of the most heavily traded currency in the world, which are also 10 of the world's most liquid currencies. Traders regularly buy and sell them in an open market with minimal impact on their own international exchange rates. We have the country United States, European Union, United Kingdom, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Switzerland, Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. And these are the currency in dollar, euro, pounds, yen, dollar, and so on. Then these are the code USD, euro. You already know some of them. Then the Scandinavia is a sub-region in northern Europe, which strong with strong historical, cultural, and linguistic ties. The term Scandinavia in local usage covers the three kingdoms of Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. Together, their currency are known as the Scandies. Back in the day, Denmark and Sweden established the Scandinavian Monetary Union to merge their currencies to a gold standard. Norway joined later. This meant that these countries now had one currency with the same monetary value, with the exception that each of these countries minted their own coins. But then, World War, the First World War happened and the gold standard was abandoned and the Scandinavian Monetary Union disbanded. These countries decided to keep the currency even if the values were separate from one another. And this remains the state of things. If you notice their currency names, they all look similar. From the table we read, you see the currency of Norway, and also the currency of Norway, Denmark. They all look the same. They all look the same. Now, these countries decided to keep the currency. If you notice their currency names, they all look similar. This is because the word krone or krona literally means crown. They actually mean one thing. The krone for the Norway, the krona for the, I think, Denmark. And the differences in spelling of the names represent the differences between the North Germanic languages. Crown currencies, what a cool name. I don't know about you, but saying hook me up with some crown, you'll sound way cooler than hook me up with some dollar. That's funny. These are example, the Denmark and the Sweden and the Norway. The one is a krone and the other is krona. And Denmark and Norway share similar spelling, krone and krone. Then the codes are different. For the Denmark is DKK, and for the Sweden is SEK, and for the Norway is NOK. You can see on the table. SEK and NOK also have cool nicknames. Stokke and Nokke. These are the nicknames. So when paired with the US dollar, USD/SEK is read dollar Stokke, and USD/NOK is read dollar Nokke. CEE currencies. CEE stand for Central. CEE stand for Central and Eastern Europe. Central and Eastern Europe is a term encompassing the currency in Central Europe, the Baltics, Eastern Europe, and Southeast Europe. The Balkans, usually meaning former communist states. For the Eastern Bloc, Warsaw Pact in Europe, that is Poland. Central and Eastern European countries, EEC is an OECD term for the group of countries comprising Albania, Bulgaria, Croatia, the Czech Republic, Hungary, Poland, Romania, the Slovak Republic, Slovenia, and the three Baltic states, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. These are the three Baltic states. Regarding the forex market, there are four main CEE currencies to be aware of. We have the Hungary, Czech Republic, Poland, and Romania, and their currency name are forint and koruna, zloty and leu. And the currency code are HEF and Z and C, ZK and PLN and RON. We have the BRICS, the BRICS. The BRICS is the acronym coined for the association of five major emerging national economies. We have the Brazil, we have the Russia, we have the India, we have the Indonesia, we have China, and we have South Africa. Originally, the first four were grouped as BRIC or the BRICS. BRICS was a term created by Goldman Sachs to name today's new high-growth emerging economies. BRICS is the term created by the OECD when it added Indonesia and South Africa. Remember, the Indonesia and South Africa were just recently added due to their economy. Their economy is waxing very strong. That's why they were included in the BRICS. Initially, it was BRIC. So now they are now six. They are four in number now. They are six because Indonesia and South Africa was recently included. Now you have a table that represents this. You have the Brazil, and the currency name is red. Then currency code is BRL. We have Russia, which is ruble. Currency code is RUB. Then we have India, which is have INR. We have Indonesia, which is rupiah, which is IDR. We have China, which is yuan, CNY. We have South Africa, which is rand, and the currency code is ZAR. In summary, that was a lot of information on currency, but you just raised your forex IQ points. Now, these are just all the summaries. So what is a currency pair in forex? A currency pair is a pairing of currency where the value of one is relatively to the other. For example, Great British / USD is the value of the British pounds relative to the US dollar. What are the major currencies pairs? Major currency pairs are those that include the US dollar and the most frequently traded. There are seven of them. We have the Euro USD, USD Japanese yen, and Great British USD, and USD Canadian dollar, and USD CHF, and AUD/USD, and NZD and USD. What are the currency crosses? Currency crosses are the more frequently traded currency that do not include the US dollar in their pairing. Crosses include Euro and Great British pounds, and Euro Canadian and Great British/Japanese yen, and Euro Switzerland franc, and Euro Japanese yen. How many currency pairs exist? There are hundreds of currency pairs in existence, but not all can be traded in the forex market. The United Nations currently recognizes 180 currencies. If you were to pair each currency up with another, it is a lot. So we have numerous currency pairs in the forex market industry. So it's only few that are being traded. Those that are more liquidated, that are more popular, that are, in our next class, we'll talk about more of this. So here is where we'll be dropping the curtain. Thanks for watching. In our next class, we will talk about forex market size and liquidity. Okay, bye bye for now.